time alive.
Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. Spoiler alert, JP. No more episode numbers. No more. I'm done with episode numbers. I'm tired of tracking it. I'm tired of you going, I don't know what episode this is. I'm tired of me never knowing what episode it is. So episode numbers are gone. Welcome to Talkin VAWLS Live. My name is Boogie Bentley.
I'm VAWLS JP.
I'm Dauber.
And I'm the Indy Kid.
This is the countdown to spring. It was supposed to be a celebration. I thought we were going to get on here and celebrate and have a good time and talk about something magical that happened at practice. But we wait yet again. But welcome to the show. Hit the thumbs up. Let's get it out of the way bright and early to see who is here. Corey Braswell was here. He's not predicting anything. He's just going to watch a team that's not coached by cornbread. Well, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. What Lion of Judah Bible shorts. Okay. Finally going to have some imagination in the offense and be able to score. I think that's true. And but will they be able to stop anybody? That's going to be the question. Lucas Sharp is here. Jeremy Webb is hanging out bright and early. Paul Camp is here. Guys, welcome in. Come on in. Crack a beer. Pull up a chair. Welcome to Talkin VAWLS Live. What's up, fellas?
What's happening?
Going on? Looks like we already got a super chat.
Yeah, what's going on, dudes? Thanks, Cody.
Let's just hit it right out of the gate. We'll let you guys run the show. Usually I have all yeah. Look at no, wait. Before I hit this super chat, Derek Rogers says, "What is going on? Indy Kid, they removed your emoji. I thought I made a mistake. I thought I forgot to upload it for basketball. And I was telling these guys right before we went live, somebody copyright flagged it. So I don't know if that was a handsome man or I don't know if it was Will Ferrell or I don't know who flagged it. I don't know who flagged you, man. I don't know who, but it should be back up now.
Still your face.
I'm trying to make money off of the Indy Kid, and they're stopping me.
Somebody's copyrighting my face, man. What up? Bless their hearts. Bless their hearts.
That's very true. Cody Branch for $2. Thanks so much, Cody, for the super chat. Says, can't stay, boys, but I'll watch the replay later. That's cool, Cody. Thanks for dropping in and dropping a super chat. We appreciate it. Gate City Blue Devil, he must have got that check in the mail. Drops a $20.21 super
2021.
2021. You guys, I did a $5 super chat on a show a couple of nights ago, and I was like, man, I'm an idiot. And you guys just $20 is crazy. Thank you so much. Just to say, go Big Orange. Man, there seems to be some positivity. I feel like there's like new life. It happens every time a new coach comes to town. But Dauber, what are you excited going into spring?
Yeah, I mean, there's some optimism. We're on the ground floor. There's not much other place to go except up. You know, you got to be a little bit positive, and I really think that this Tennessee team is gonna look different than any Tennessee team we've seen in the last decade plus. Talk about an offense that is going to be modern, an offense that is going to move the ball, score points. We talked about it before. It seems that the last couple of coaching staffs, it's not just a grind to score points; it's a grind to score or to make first downs, to move the ball down the field. Such a struggle. And then you flip over and watch any other team in college football play, and their offense is just clicking and winging it all over the place. And even if they're losing, they're fun to watch. Tennessee football has not been fun to watch, and it's definitely not been fun to talk about and do this stuff about because it's so vanilla and boring.
What about you, JP? You look just miserable. Are you excited? Are you happy that we're 2 days away? What's wrong, JP?
I mean, I'm interested in seeing what's happened, but tell you, I keep going back. This 12 plus years is taking its toll on me for sure. So I'm not getting excited. I'm not getting down. I'm just, I guess that I'm just not going to get bought in until I see some actual real results. And we're not going to see any of that in spring. Yes, I mean I'm excited to see pigskin start flying and they have some practice and some contact and all that, and get some of these kids out there that maybe weren't given the opportunity last year or for whatever reason that they didn't get to play and so forth like that. So there's certainly some talent on this team, but there's some glaring holes. Obviously quarterback position, most important position on the field, and we all know, without going into details, the struggles that this program's had, the last 3 or 4 years with that since Josh Dobbs left. So, Tennessee has got to find a quarterback. If they're going to have any success at all, they've got to be able to find a quarterback. Now, do they find that quarterback in spring practice? I mean, that would be great that they do, but I would imagine that, that battle will probably continue on into the fall, I would think, with that. But, maybe if anything can come out of the quarterback battle after spring practice is maybe that they can narrow it down. And maybe have just a couple of guys instead of 4.
That's what I think too. That's what I was thinking while you were going through that is I would imagine they're going to try to narrow it down. Hopefully you go into fall camp with 2 guys. Two guys competing for that starting job. Blitz 621 says, sorry, but I have to see it to believe it. Been on this carousel too many times. That's probably the best mindset to take. And honestly, that's where I'm at too. I have to see it to believe it, but I am still excited about things going into spring practice. I'm excited to watch this quarterback competition. I'm excited to see who emerges at the running back position. There are so many competitions, position battles that I want to see play out. I want to see what Josh Heupel does compared to what Jeremy Pruitt did with this football team. But staying on the topic of quarterbacks, Indy Kid, what do you think? Who's your front runner going into spring?
Hooker. I think Hooker with experience, but I'm not ready to count Harrison Bailey out. If Harrison Bailey gets his decision-making down, I think he's going to be a real factor in this. Obviously, Salter has a lot of hype. People's mentioned Maurer was recruited by Central Florida's staff down there. I'm going to have to see it to believe it on Maurer. And, if he becomes a guy, so be it. I don't care, honestly, who it is. I just want somebody that's going to get the job done. But I still lean toward Hooker, or I'm not ready to count Harrison Bailey out. I think people are counting him out right now. And his accuracy and his throwing is not the problem. It's just getting rid of the ball. And in this offense, if you can't get rid of the ball, you're not going to stay in there very long. So I'm going to lean toward Hooker, but I think Bailey, I'm going to go ahead and call it right now. Harrison Bailey is going to give Hooker all he wants for that starting job.
Yeah, I think the one knock on Bailey, though, is his arm strength. Like you said, his accuracy, he showed he could put a ball where it needed to be. But the one thing that Heupel likes to do is stretch the field. And we've got some guys with speed. Velus Jones, Jalen Hyde, these guys that were underutilized last year. I fully expect them to be paramount in this offense, and you're going to have a quarterback that can, throw a good deep ball, and I think that's one thing that is exciting is I think we are going to see a true quarterback competition, and I think all 4 of these guys, there are pros and cons.
It only make them better.
Yeah, and that's the thing that we never saw last year. We never saw anybody pushing number 2, and we never saw number 2 push himself to get better.
Yeah, there was never a real quarterback competition. But when you talk about the deep ball,
been one.
Do what?
I said, even though there should have been one.
We're always
one for about 4 years now. But yeah,
it's just never handled.
Thank God Winky's gone.
I don't want to talk about Garantano and all that mess. But when you talk about Dauber talking about throwing the deep ball, man, Caden Salter throws a good deep ball. And I wonder if, you talk about a true freshman coming in to take over the quarterback position. I wonder if the odds are kind of even because everybody's on the same playing field because it's a new system. It's a new staff. He's going to be learning just the same as everybody else is. So I think it'll be interesting to see how Caden Salter does. Like I said, he obviously, he makes some great plays with his feet. Good gosh, when you watch his film, he is just unbelievable. Can he get on the playing field as a true freshman though, JP?
I mean, I think that he can, and I'll say it right now. I mean, I think if he could come in and be the real deal, I think that would be so much a shot in the arm for this football program. And get people excited knowing that, hey, that we got this kid for at least three years, and we got a playmaker back there behind center and so forth like that. I mean, because that's what's going to have to happen. I mean, Heupel is going to have something positive happen, whether it's, getting somebody that turns into being just an absolute stud, or something like that. And, it doesn't have to be Salter, but I think that if he could come in and just really just take over that quarterback position, I think that would be huge. And, we'll just have to see if that ends up happening. I don't think that the kid has a lack of moxie to him and confidence in him, which, I think that certainly a lot of these quarterbacks have lacked, the last few years, certainly for whatever reason down there, that they just never could gain any confidence and stuff like that. But, he's got that confidence to him and that kind of swag to him, and we need somebody like that. This program needs somebody that is just a dynamic player. And I'm hoping it's him, but if it's not, if it's Harrison Bailey, that's fine. If it ends up being Hooker, that's fine. The only problem with Hooker is, I mean, you're probably only going to have him for one year, I guess. So with that,
he's got 2 years left, though.
Does he? So, we'll see what happens there. But, like any kid said, it doesn't matter who actually is a starter. We just need him to be a competent quarterback. But man, I tell you what, I would love to see Salter come in and just be the real deal from day one. Now, whether or not he can do it, we'll see.
But here's the thing: if you look at history and you look at Heupel, I think it was Tracy Brown said earlier up in the chat. You look at what he did this past season with Gabriel at Central Florida as a true freshman coming in and throwing it all over the place. I mean, he's
especially in a COVID season when they didn't even have spring ball or probably
he's going to put whoever out there. He's going to put whoever out there, regardless of what year they are.
I think the only one we really don't know anything about so far is Salter. I mean, we've seen the other three guys. We've seen Harrison Bailey, accuracy is not a problem. Getting rid of the ball is. Maurer, I mean, he is just too wild, and maybe reckless. They can reel him in. Yeah. Very reckless.
But, maybe somebody that's actually competent in coaching quarterbacks can turn him around.
Yeah.
It's an interesting point. I think one thing with these quarterbacks, and you guys have noticed it just as much as I have, they've played scared. It's like they're afraid to make a mistake. These guys have said it. These guys have said it. They're going to coach them up. They're going to develop them, and then they're going to let them play football on Saturdays. And I think that I think that'll make a difference right there. I don't think it's only been quarterbacks been scared to make mistakes. It's been whole offense for a couple of years now.
I think it's the defense too.
Yeah, and you think back to Chaney when he was here before, that was an issue as well. So it kind of goes back to him, even though Pruitt was the main guy. But if Harrison Bailey can get rid of the ball, I think he may win it out. I really do, because that was the only knack on him last year. But we've seen quarterbacks before who had that problem, who had trouble getting rid of that problem too. So that's going to be his big holdup right there, is getting rid of the ball. But I don't think that, and some others mentioned, I don't think in this offense, arm strength's a big deal. Now, obviously, you won't be able to throw it more than 10 yards, but this is a quick offense. And with the speed they've got, if you can just let those guys make plays, you're going to be all right with that offense.
Guys, we got 142 people watching live right now. Do us a favor, hit the thumbs up. We got about 49. Let's get it to – I'm going to set small goals tonight. Let's get it to 75. Just hit thumbs up real quick. we would greatly appreciate it. It drives the show. It drives the analytics. It's all behind the scenes stuff. I harp on it. It's fun. Let's do it and move on. Comic Book Bob's here. He says, like and share, guys. Have a good stream. Thanks, Bob.
What's up, Bob?
I'll see you Thursday night.
What's up, Bob?
I want to kind of continue to stay with the offense here, because I think no matter who is taking the snaps, and whether it's Harrison Bailey, Hendon Hooker, I thought it was kind of funny on the Swain event. I can't remember if it was today or yesterday. They were talking about, I guess yesterday was Heupel's birthday, right? Yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And they were making a big joke saying, did you see who handed him the birthday cake? Anybody want to guess who delivered the cake to Coach Heupel? That would be one Hendon Hooker. Hendon Hooker. I also Bayless Jones Jr. has a YouTube channel. He seems to be spending a lot of time with one Hendon Hooker, which would make you kind of wonder. But I'm with you guys. I don't care who takes the snaps. I'm behind them all. I want a good, honest quarterback competition. Where I want to go, though, is no matter who takes the snaps, I think they're going to have some weapons. They're going to have some weapons around them, especially at the wide receiver position. I would encourage you, if you have not watched it yet, the Indy Kid dropped a video on the wide receivers yesterday talking about all the talent, the speed. Go check that out after we get done with the stream tonight. But a lot of talent there. Bayless Jones Jr. and Jalen Hyatt obviously are probably your 1-2 punch. Dauber, what do you think about these wide receivers? Who do you think kind of emerges that's an unknown, maybe?
I mean, you saw some flashes from some of the younger guys last year, and then they sort of dropped off, and we didn't see them again. And I think it goes back to the coaching staff, not really giving people chances, not really developing. It was kind of that, here you're out there, you don't do things right, you don't make plays, you're not getting back out there. I tell you what, I'm super excited that Jones came back.
Mm-hmm.
I really expect big things out of him. All this coverage that we've seen, which is a welcome change from the previous staff, where we, everything was on lockdown and we hardly got to see inside and see stuff going on. But it really seems that Jones is kind of emerging as a leader, stepping up and, mentoring some of the younger guys. I hope that the talent that we have is utilized. That's the big thing, because there is talent. People want to keep going on and on about, we don't have players, everybody's in the transfer portal, everybody's leaving, but there is talent. There is talent still in Knoxville that didn't leave. There's guys that can make plays, and like you said, Boogie, there are weapons. I fully believe that.
Well, when what you were just talking about with Central Florida and playing a true freshman at quarterback, what that makes me think is that Josh Heupel is going to play the best guys, whether they're upperclassmen or true freshmen.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll be extremely disappointed if this offense is not, putting up some points. There's tons of skill positions, especially at the wide receiver. You go down that list. I know everybody talks about Hyatt and Belvis Jones, but man, you got Malachi Wideman.
Yeah.
That kid, for whatever reason, as much as Tennessee struggled last year, why that we didn't try to get him more involved, it's just mind blowing to me. And then you talk about Callaway, Jimmy Callaway, and then what's the other kid's name?
Holiday.
Yeah. To me, the type of offense that Heupel likes to run, and that fast-paced offense and all that, and trying to get those kids out there in space. And I think, like the offensive coordinator said, that's their goal, is to get those kids out there in space and to put them in a position to let them make plays. Tennessee has weapons on offense. We just got to find the quarterback that can get the right reads and that can accurately get them the ball to allow them to be able to make plays once they catch it. I think that's going to happen. I do. I think that Heupel's track record speaks for that. I think the talent's there. Now, whether or not we got any kind of offensive line that can, give us a time, that's going to be another question there.
I think that, I think if you're a wide receiver, you got to be licking your chops in this offense. I really do. I think there's plays to be made, and you mentioned it, JP. It's really mind-blowing that some of these guys couldn't get on the field last year. I mean, we seen the guys who were playing, dropping passes, couldn't get open or anything, but yet, this – and they even proclaimed it. Oh, yeah, we signed the best wide receiver class in the country, but yet we couldn't get on the field. There's a lot of speed and potential, and it's potential. It needs to be developed right there. But you talk about Weidman, Callaway, Holiday. You've got Hyatt. You got Bayless Jones. You got Merrill, who's coming in, who I think he'll be a sneaky guy, pretty athletic dude right there. You got Cedric Tillman, who was it A&M game at the end? He made that diving catch for a touchdown. That was a pretty awesome catch right there. And I'll tell you another name I'm not going to be surprised to see out there. And that message right there is going out. Beckwith. Not going to be surprised one bit to see Beckwith get moved. I can't see him staying at running back in this offense. Not at 6'5" and that size.
You think
he ends up at tight end?
That's what I was going to say. Wide receiver or tight end?
Like a hybrid receiver.
See, I don't know because you've got Beckwith, who could be that hybrid. You've got Julian Nixon, who they've signed, who's in that 6'3", 230 range. I'm curious to see what they do with those guys. Are they hybrids? Are they receivers? Are they H-backs? Are they tight ends? And somebody mentioned too, I know that Cayman Marley that they signed, I think the expectation, he was going to be linebacker, but he is listed as an athlete. So is there something they could do with him on offense as well? There's going to be some position moves around. I'm just
a lot
curious to see. Yeah, I think so, because you're going to get some linebacker depth. So there's going to be some guys that moves to wide receiver. There's probably going to be some guys go to tight end, etc. So it's going to be really interesting. But I think Cody Burns will do his job. I think his offense will allow these guys to just play ball. They don't have to know every block. They don't have to know every assignment. They don't have to know every run play. If they can make plays, they're going to put them in a position to make plays and not worry about making mistakes.
Yeah, we say it all the time. Dauber, quote, players make plays. Put them on the field. That's it. I want to see what they do with D. Beckwith, because when he ran the ball, he was so big and physical. He just the dude needs to be on the field. And I've seen a lot of people talking about him at wide receiver, but if he's going to change positions, man, the first thing I think of is tight end. What a big physical tight end he could be. I don't know that he necessarily has the speed to be a wide receiver, but I've also seen people saying, you put him in the slot, run him across the middle, do different stuff in that Heupel offense. So it's good. I'm with you, Indy Kid. There's going to be a lot of position changes. I'm curious to see who gets moved to linebacker. Swain was kind of talking about it today. If they do get moved to linebacker, are they going to be happy with it, or are they going to be pissed off because they don't want to be at linebacker? So that'll be an interesting thing to follow throughout spring. Hopkins lacrosse fan. Hop, I was thinking about you today. I was working. I had ESPN turned on, and Ohio State was playing Michigan in lacrosse. And my neck got sore because I kept watching the TV trying to figure out the game of lacrosse. I know nothing. What I will say is those dudes are in shape, man. You think soccer players are in shape? I'd say lacrosse
like
is right
with a stick, isn't it?
Soccer's right up there with them, man. Those guys are in some serious shape. But Hopkins, lacrosse fan, for $10. Thanks for the super chat, buddy. Says, good evening, gentlemen. It's good to see the Beatles of Rocky Top. That's a T-shirt. That's a T-shirt. Gonna have to get on that the Abbey Road Talkin VAWLS T-shirt. That's a money
walking on the checkerboard.
That's a moneymaker right there, buddy.
Man.
Thanks, Hop. You gave us $10 and you put more money in our pocket. He says, I watched Coach Heupel's entire playing career, and I promise that he will get the maximum out of the talent that he has. I hope you're right. And the people in the chat that are a little reserved, I get it. We all are. We've all been through the ringer the last 15, 20 years at this point. But yeah, the Beatles. That's a T-shirt. It's coming. It's coming soon. We got some fun merch dropping. Probably going to wait till fall to drop the new merch, but we got a couple of new T-shirts coming. A couple of T-shirts are going to be discontinued, so you better get in where you fit in. You better go check it out. There's no better time than now to go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and share up the merch. The link is in the description below, but it's simple. It's bonfire.com/Talkin VAWLS. It's all the merch in one easy location. Now you can get the Mount Rushmore shirt, the Talkin VAWLS mug, and then the old faithful. But we're going to discontinue some of this stuff. I got to figure out what we're going to get rid of and get this new merch up and out, rocking and rolling. If you don't like the indie kid, if he's annoying, or if you have a copyright strike claim against him, you can get this shirt. It's definitely going to be discontinued probably within the next couple of months. So if for some reason you hate him and you want a shirt with the three amigos, you can go pick that up. But State Pride merch, basketball shirt, I don't know that those will ever be discontinued. It's still my favorite shirt we've ever done. Absolutely love it. But if you want to throw a few bucks our way, support this podcast, you can go pick up the merch. Like I said, the link is in the description below. If you don't want to do that, a quick thumbs up, a super chat, or just hang out. That's all we ask. Let's move forward.
I see an interesting question Angie has right there, because we talked about what Heupel's going to do and the hype right there. That's been the interesting one for me throughout this process. I get Tennessee fans trying to make a point, but the criticism from UCF fans is kind of been.
What do you say when the hot chick leaves you? Do you say how great she is, or do you come up with the worst thing possible to say about her?
Never had to worry about that. So, but yeah, that's because I never. Once I picked the hot chick up, I got married to her. So that's but
you're 1 for 1, right?
I was 1 for 1. Well, when I finally about 1 for 1,000, but anyhow, but yeah, I don't know, man. It's just I don't know what they've been unhappy about. Yeah, Brian makes comment. Every time somebody leaves, I go, "We didn't want him anyway." But
I think it's crying over spilt milk.
Sour grapes. That's
well,
what Georgia fans did the same thing when Chaney left. Of course,
well, I don't think they miss much.
Yeah.
Well, plus, I think that you got to think. What did he finish 13-1? His first year after Frost went undefeated or whatever, and then he went to 10-3, and then last year 6-4. So they're like, well, he made the program worse.
But you got what do you want? What do you want? 13 wins every season?
Well, that's what I'm saying. But yeah, but those fans are saying, well, he wasn't any good anyway, because look how that his record got worse. So
we'd all be saying the same thing if it was here.
Yeah.
And a lot of people use that. They say, well, he was declining the whole time and stuff. But really, if you take over a 14-0 program or 13-0, whatever they were, you really don't have anywhere to go but down.
Right.
Right. And you're going to lose players along the way. He's going to recruit his guys. Frost was only there 2 years, so it's not like he did an awesome job. Don't get me wrong, but it's not like he had some strongly built juggernaut to take over. He'd only been there for 2 years, and
so what were the criticisms? Ann saying that they gave valid criticisms. I'm sorry.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Offenses. I think the big criticism was defense, which the only one he brought from the defense is Willie Martinez. He didn't bring Randy Shannon.
And Randy Shannon was forced on him. Randy Shannon was forced on him. So what does that say?
Was it recruiting related too? Because I know he kind of, he had some not so great recruiting classes.
That's what's going to be interesting to see is recruiting. And just an update for that too. I have convinced Vols JP to drop a recruiting video every Sunday for the next month. So you guys tune in for that, because it's going to be good.
They better get somebody, or it's going to be short, man.
That's what I was going to say. When I asked you, the first thing you said was, well, they don't have a single commit. And that is, when Ann talks about criticisms, that's one thing that I've seen is,
Yeah, but there's you can't. I mean, yes. I mean, Heupel may end up being a bad recruiter, and there may be things to it, but I'm not ready to say that yet because I mean, look what he's walked into. I mean, Tennessee basically put themselves on death penalty.
Yeah.
We still don't know what's. They haven't even gave their final releasing yet of all the findings that they found. They haven't self-reported anything yet. So these kids are like, well, how do I know? Am I even going to be eligible to play in a bowl game? My entire career at Tennessee. I mean, there's a lot of questions there that those kids have. So, you can't blame them. Problem is, even if Tennessee self reports and puts themselves on a year or two bowl ban, who knows when the NCAA may actually have their final ruling on it. Because they're a joke. We all know that. So.
Do we know the time frame on that? Because it seemed like a month ago it was. We're close.
Yeah. I mean, they've been saying that they've been close for a month plus now. That Tennessee's close, and they haven't. As far as I know, I haven't heard any kind of final documentation saying everything that they found and what they found and what they're going to self-report.
I saw where it may carry into the fall, possibly. Yeah. So I mean, that's
it'll be the most Tennessee thing ever. Tennessee goes like 10-2 this year, and we have a bowl ban. You watch. I'm telling you. I mean, it would be the most Tennessee thing ever.
And obviously, nobody wants.
We would be eligible for the SEC championship, but we put ourselves on probation and we can't go to Atlanta. I mean, it'd be the most Tennessee thing ever.
A bowl ban's bad enough, but when it drags out for so long and continues to impact recruiting, because you can't tell these kids anything. All you can tell them is we don't know. We don't know. And that is going to destroy recruiting. I do want to change gear here. Phil Castle in the chat says, agree defense is going to be the issue this year. Spoiler alert, Indy Kid's going to be dropping a video on the defense shortly, so stay tuned for that. You'll get all kinds of details. We may get into some of it tonight. And then the Edge Dude 01 says, did he get Henry T to stay? That's a start. Let's talk about Henry To'o because it came out that he was back on campus. I threw up a video about it, blew up the internet. Everybody telling me that I'm a liar and that it's fake news and why isn't the media covering it? But the reality is this: Henry To'o did return to campus. He was on campus. I didn't say he was back. I didn't say he was definitely going to be playing. I said that signs appeared that he may be going through spring practice, but everything sounds like the family didn't want it to know that he was back on campus. And, we all know the issues with his dad, making the comments about Alabama, all that stuff. Austin Price, what's funny, JJ, when I put the video out, Austin Price acted like Henry T was going to go through practice. Now Austin Price is changing his tune real quick, saying that he doesn't think he's going to go through practice. But I think it's interesting that, like I said, we know that his dad, the stuff with Alabama, and I don't think his dad wants him at Tennessee. And it's telling to me that the family didn't want it to be known that he was on campus. Almost like, don't get that false sense of hope in Tennessee fans. It's just going to create more drama for us when he leaves. Obviously, this team needs Henry T back. You can say good riddance. You can say you talk about sour grapes. Talk about sour grapes and Josh Heupel at UCF. It's the same thing. We need Henry To'o. We need him. He was the leading tackler. Yes, I felt like he regressed, but they need him back. Dauber, what are your thoughts on this situation? Do you think there is a chance he goes through spring practice?
Man, if he does, think about what that causes in the locker room. Think about what that causes for his teammates. Here you've got a guy that puts his name in the portal, basically says, I'm too good to be on this team. I'm going to find somewhere else to play. Or, I don't believe in you guys, so I'm going to find somewhere else to play. And then, it doesn't really sound like he's had, many schools beating down his door to come play for him. So I don't know. The stuff his dad said, we made a mistake coming to Tennessee the first time. We should have chose Alabama. That makes everything rough. these kids that play when they get moms and dads that get on Twitter and want to put stuff out, it really puts the kids in a tough spot.
You're not helping your child.
Yeah. But
I don't think he's coming back to play.
I don't think he will either. But yes, like you said, Boogie, it's going to be a huge loss at a position group that we're struggling right now at. You've got a converted running back playing one of the linebacker positions. You've got really a bunch of unknowns, guys that have played limited snaps. And yeah, we didn't see Henry T as effective as he was his first year this past year, but he still led the team in tackles. He still made impacts in the game. He's still probably the best defensive player on the team. But yeah, when you've got all this other drama surrounding the one player, is it worth it for that productivity on the field to cause trouble in the locker room? To cause we've seen how incidents like that can spoil the locker room and cause conflict, and it spills out on the field. I think we saw a lot of that turmoil amongst the staff spill out onto and affect the play on the field this past year.
Yeah, I think it's telling also that he didn't take his name out of the transfer portal.
Yeah.
And as a head coach, that would be the first thing I said. If you're coming back, you better get your name out of the transfer portal. You're not coming here. And I would also make him sit down with his teammates. But there are a lot of things that Henry T would need to do to earn his way back onto the field when everybody else has been there putting in the work while he's been out in California with his family. Guys, we got 193 people watching live right now. Only 87 thumbs up. My new goal, let's get it to 100. Go right down below, hit thumbs up. We would greatly appreciate it. It takes you 2 seconds, helps the channel. That's the speech for now. What are your thoughts, Indy Kid? Where are you at on this thing? You think look, one of the big comments that I get all the time when I talk about Henry T, I made 2 videos on him in the last couple of weeks. And man, people come at me hard when I say, you got to commit to the T. You're playing for Tennessee. And people tell me that it's his right. It is his right. He has every right to leave, Boogie. Yeah, he does. He does. You're a quitter. You're a quitter. They say he didn't sign up for this. You're a quitter. Guess what? Welcome to real life. Welcome to real life when things change. Things aren't always as they appear. And as a grown man, you are faced with a decision. You can buckle down. You can go to work with your teammates, or you can quit. And yes, it's your right. It's your right. You can do. Boogie, he has the opportunity to go wherever he wants. That's right. He does. He does. He's still a quitter. Well, that's the reality of the situation. I don't care what you say. He may have the right. He's a quitter. But
and we've talked about this before when talking about guys entering the transfer portal and all that. These kids today, they're not committing to the University of Tennessee because of tradition and pride in the school. I mean, you do have the occasional guy, an in-state kid that it's their dream to go play for their home state university. But most of the guys, they have no allegiance to the university. They're going for the name on the back of their jersey. It's an interview for the next level, basically. It's to try to get to the pros. It's not to extend the tradition and all that. I mean, that plays into it at a minimum, but that's not why. And that's why you have guys that commit to coaches and all this, because it has nothing to do with the school.
Well, you've got, and I know the linebackers coach, Jean-Marie, he mentioned it when they were asking about Henry T. and Crouch. He said, I'm worried about the guys who are here right now, who are putting in the work. And I think it's going to be interesting Thursday to see who hits the field and who doesn't when they start spring practice. And I really think if Henry T hits the field, I think he's in. If he doesn't, I don't think he's coming back, and he may not come back. And It is his decision. That's right. But, like you guys said, guys are committing to coaches instead of staffs. And I think that's a problem with it when a coach leaves. You mentioned it, Boogie. It's real life. Your boss or somebody leaves, you just go hit the road because of that. You might at some point. But, in my profession, if my principal hits the road, what am I going to do? Go pack up and leave because of that? No. I'm not going to, but we'll see what he does. I really think that I honestly don't think, and I could be wrong, that they'll allow him to go through spring practice if he's not committed. I think if he's on the field Thursday to go through spring practice, I think they've had that chat with him. He's committed. He's going to stay. If he's not on the field, I don't think you'll see him back. And the same with Crouch. I haven't heard anything about him. He was going through workouts, and now he's not here. So
sounds like he's definitely gone.
Yeah,
I think it's a
backwards almost.
Yeah, it made no sense. I thought when he's going through workouts, he's going to end up staying. But I would be prepared that. And here's another thing that's a problem. Two of your heir apparents right now, French and Willis, are suspended. So, there's going to be some guys getting.
We
got
got
linebacker. Jeremy and Aaron Beasley can't be the only two linebackers on the team. So there's going to be some other guys getting moved. I hope Toa stays. I really do. If I was a guy who's gone through all these workouts and then this dude just shows up for practice, I'd probably be a little pissed off about it.
Yeah, amen to that.
Call him out on it.
Especially when you're going through team building exercise and talking about leadership. And that's something I criticized him for when I made the video about him leaving is how are you going to be a leader when you're sitting out in California and everybody else is here putting in the work? Sorry, JP, go ahead.
Yeah. No, what I was going to say is, especially if he's still in the transfer portal, there's no way if I'm Heupel that I'm letting him out there because he's taking reps away from somebody because I don't know if he's going to be here come summer.
That's a good point, JP.
He's got to be balled in to go through.
Yeah,
balled in.
If he wants to commit to it and take himself out of the transfer portal, as long as the team is okay with him coming back, then okay, that's fine. But if he says, no, coach, I want to stay in the transfer portal because I haven't made up my mind because I want to see what kind of, how that you all are going to utilize me. And then also he's probably in the back of his mind thinking, I'm going to see what other kind of offers that may come up, that I can transfer to. No, sorry. That's not the way that it works. And, Heupel's got to, if it comes down to that, that could be a very, very telling point about, what type of potential success that Heupel has here. That could be his first big decision that he has to make with that. Now, who knows if it comes to that? Because personally, I don't think that Henry T is going to be back at Tennessee playing football because I don't think his family will let him. That's what I think.
And that's sad. What kind of father are you that you're encouraging him to quit?
David like Sparks, the Tua deal, I think.
Yeah, David Sparks says he might stay to play himself into an early round NFL draft pick next year. That's another interesting point. And again, I always try to give credit where I get these points from. But Swain was talking about Henry T. And he was talking about, do you realize he's not been through a single spring practice? Because as a freshman, he showed up late.
Mm-hmm.
And then his sophomore year, COVID, he didn't get spring practice. So now if he screws around and says, I'm going to stay in the transfer portal and do this, that, and the other and wait around and go work out and play, I don't know, jacks with his dad. I don't know what they're doing out there in California. Maybe they're playing hopscotch in their driveway. I have no idea. I don't know what they're doing out there. But you've missed three spring practices. How do you think that looks to an NFL scout when you say, oh, well, I don't need it. I'm good enough. My dad knows what he's doing.
Maybe that's an answer for the regression.
Yeah.
Maybe that's an answer to why he gets lost in coverage.
Well, I know one thing. I don't know if he's been working out or anything like that, but he was definitely smaller last year, and it definitely showed. So if he's serious about playing football, I think that I would have been in some kind of strength and conditioning program trying to get bigger because it definitely hurt him last year. In my opinion, he was definitely smaller.
That's a good point.
That's a point a lot of people are bringing up.
Yeah,
that's a very good point. Yeah, that's
that's why I said it's kind of like Tua's situation like that. And whatever. I mean, that's their culture or whatever. But in my opinion, Apple needs to say, if you want to come back, then you got to be out of the transfer portal.
That's the only way.
Go through spring practice and take reps away from these kids that have been here and has stuck through this. And to me, that's just a bad look. And I could see some kids getting pissed about that for sure.
That's the only way you can allow him back. I really do. I mean, if he's going to go through spring, you're out of the portal. And these coaches have had conversations with him. It's not like they haven't spoken, because if he was just muting them and not talking to them, it'd be over at this point. And, maybe just come back to Knoxville and get his things. But, yeah, they've talked to him and recruited him. They've had to at this point. Same with Crouch. These guys are either – and maybe that's the thing with Crouch. He wouldn't come out of the portal and they wouldn't let him go through spring, and that's why he left. I mean, maybe he was trying to pull the whole go through spring and see if there's a better offer out there for him as well. But
Sean Calvert thinks they're going to allow him to come back to try to keep him. I mean, that's to me, Sean. I mean, that may happen, buddy, but man, to me, that's not good. I mean, that's not good.
I don't think that's
I wouldn't like that at all.
What they presented at the press conference.
I wouldn't like that.
I don't think that's what they presented at the press conference. Like Indy Kid said, when they talked about, we're going to focus on the guys who are here. I cannot imagine them getting Henry T back on campus and just saying, "Oh yeah, just walk right in here and you'll be the main guy. You'll be taking all the." I just don't see that with this staff, and maybe I'm wrong. We're going to find out Thursday. You guys let us know. We obviously the Wrestling Council is Thursday night. I don't know if we may go live once a week during spring practice, but we'll be doing tons of coverage, dropping videos. Like I said, JP is going to be doing recruiting videos on Sunday. So if you've not done so yet, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. It's just down below. Hit the thumbs up. We're up to 118. I yelled at you guys a minute ago, and somebody said it went from like 80 to 106 in 5 seconds. So if I yell at you again, if not, maybe I'll sick JP or somebody on you. I don't know. We're up to 119. I bet we can get it to 130. I bet we can get it to 130. Let's do that. Let's get it up there.
We talked about Henry T regressing last year. He didn't go through spring and look at his linebacker coaches. He had Niedermeyer and Shelton Felton. Hell fire, guys. The four of us could have got out there and developed him as good as those guys did.
I don't know. I'm an offensive coordinator. I'll let you guys take care of the defense.
You was always a defensive guy on NCAA, so I'm relying on you to be the linebackers guy.
I'm not really a defensive guy. I'm a Fulmer guy. I run it up the middle, run the clock out, and try to win 6-3. I don't care.
Mercy. It's Johnny Majors all over.
That's me, brother. Run the ball, run the clock, control the game, son.
Work like heck.
Yeah. 7 straight national championships with the USC Trojans the last year of NCAA football. Man, I can't wait for that game to come back.
I wasn't on there that last year. That's why it happened.
It must be, yeah, because otherwise I would have never lost a game if you'd been there.
Yeah.
Oh, man, the memories of that game. Do you even have an Xbox anymore or anything?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, I got rid of it, actually, a few years ago.
You got to pick something up when they bring college football back. Come on, man.
If I have time, I will. It's hard to have time for it anymore.
Boogie special teams, they're saying. I punt on third down sometimes just to be safe.
Johnny Majors, 45-yard line, 3rd and 3. We'll just go ahead and punt.
Just punt it, just to be safe, just in case we botch the snap. JJ Banks, it's going down. Once that game comes out, a lot of you guys in the chat, it's on. We're going to play. We're going to have fun. I don't know if my heart can handle the online Dynasty I used to run. We had some knockdown dragouts.
If it's a Talkin VAWLS online Dynasty, I may find a way to make it happen.
Oh, that's what I was saying on one of the last live streams. Maybe we just make it a membership tier. You pay X amount of money, you gain access to the online Dynasty, and we just rock and roll, man.
To get drilled by me and Boogie. So,
oh, gosh, I love that game. I can't wait. Cannot wait till it comes back. Lucas Sharp dropping out the years was, I think 14 was the year that you couldn't stop anybody. If you ran the read option, it was unstoppable. You made the right read, automatic first down. 13, I think, was really good. Really good.
Last year I played was the one you could key in on the pass, and you couldn't already pass on anybody. Because you and I would play on Dynasty, and we couldn't already score on each other unless it's some kind of a fluke or something.
They kept that in there, but it wasn't as aggressive. Dauber and JP are like, what is happening? What is going on?
The last NCAA game I had was 2008.
You bought an Xbox just to race with us online. How'd that work out?
I already sold that. Yeah.
Didn't work out well for you, did it?
No.
You were racing with the best online racers on the planet. So
yeah, that wasn't fun.
we gotta get this thing back on the rails here. This is what happens when we do spring football podcasts.
JJ Banks said we need to do a college football fantasy league. I tried that last year with some buddies at first time ever college football. I mean, there's like 9,000 players that you get to draft, and somehow I ended up my quarterback ended up being the guy that for Ole Miss that didn't even end up starting, old Plumlee. So I didn't even have like a starting quarterback after the draft.
How does that work? Is it some like?
It was actually it was some kind of website, but it went down for like three or 4 weeks. So it was horrible. Yeah, it was horrible. I just quit after. I mean, I like got my team together the first week. Of course, with all the COVID stuff, it made it difficult too, because you never knew who was going to be playing or whatever from week to week. So yeah, I didn't even follow it. I just gave up. Yeah, I didn't even get a starting quarterback drafted. It was just ours was just SEC though. It's all it was. It was just Southeastern Conference.
That'd be fun. I just don't think that's legal right now.
It was some
Which
kind
I guess that's why the website crashed.
I don't know. I had a buddy that had it going, so I jumped in. We ended up not doing anything for money or anything because the site crashed and everything like that.
Yeah.
But Rusty, my brother-in-law, ended up winning it, and he was like, "Of course, when there's no money on the line, I end up winning."
Take the money out of it. Yeah, that's hilarious. Goodness gracious! I don't know what I was going to say. I had a plan and I forgot what it was. Oh, I was going to say this, Indie Kid. Are you going to drop a defense video tomorrow? Not to put you on the spot or anything.
Yeah, I'll try to get something tomorrow night.
Give us a little preview of your thought process on that.
Just kind of touch upon what's going on. I think with this unit, what I'm looking forward to is I like the coaching staff on that side of the ball. I think you've got a combination of guys who can coach and recruit, and I feel that's what we've been missing. I thought we saw that make a difference this past year when Tracy Rocker and
Scherer. Kevin
Scherer, and then Rump. When those guys left, I think you lost some teachers right there. And at Tennessee, yes, it is a couple Clint Eastwood posters, by the way, but yeah, I think before anything, you've got to have teachers. You've got to have guys that can actually coach. And, people said it in the comments that winning cures at Tennessee. You can recruit at Tennessee no matter what. Even in all these crappy years, they've still had decent recruiting classes. So you've got Banks. I'm one of the few, and I know people threw off on Willie Martinez. Our best defensive back play over the last 10 years has been when Willie Martinez was there. That's when the most developments happened. And then when he left, I felt it dropped off. right there. And then Jean-Marie, he's got a pretty good reputation. And we know Rodney Garner. My gosh, man, we have gone up against Rodney Garner for years in recruiting. And Rodney Garner was the one. He was not the one, but he was very responsible for our national championship in '98. And, if you're not happy about Rodney Garner, I saw somebody say Gardner, it's Garner, but I'm excited. Now, I look at it too. The defensive line has some experience coming back, and I think that unit could do pretty well next year. Linebackers, Mr. Jean-Marie, we're going to –
work cut out for him.
He has got his work cut out for him. I think there's some talent in the secondary as well. I think Martin – of course, you've got who's the outside linebackers coach? This dude's a nut, man. We have not touched upon this guy. He's crazy.
The guy that beat up Pruitt.
Eckler or whatever his name is.
Yeah, this dude's got to be an instant fan favorite, right? Solomon is, I think from what I've gathered, Solomon's back.
He is.
CJJ Banks. So, because you've got Solomon, you got Matthew Butler, you got Middleton. There's 5 seniors coming back. Plus, you got Amari Thomas, you got Dominic Bailey. Yeah, Mike, there we go, Eckler. This dude is a nut. He is. I started following him on Twitter because he's funny to watch. He evidently had a dog chasing him the other morning. He's like, that dog couldn't hang me for over a mile or over a block. And I outran him. But
you got what's his face? Elijah Simmons too.
Simmons.
You got him on the defensive line.
There's some talent on the line, and I think you're going to see like Tyler Barron move down to
the edge.
We just got to find somebody that can get to the quarterback. Yeah.
I think you may see.
He's got to be able to develop that.
JJ Banks throws out Morvin Joseph. I was getting ready to say.
Seen the pictures of him? He is jacked. He is shredded right now, dude. He is putting in the work.
So is he going to stay at linebacker, or is it? Yeah, I'm curious about that too. Does he move down or stay at linebacker?
He looks pretty lean.
You've got to find somebody that they can move down to either put their hand on the ground or come off the edge standing up and get that corner and put pressure on the quarterback.
What about Roman Harrison? Do you think he's too small to move to the end?
Yeah, that's the only problem. I mean, he just don't have much size to him.
He's 230. I can't see it, and maybe you could do some packages with him on third down or something, but. Him and Joseph both seem to be in that 230 range. That's more of a linebacker. I think you see Barron go to end. I'm curious to see what happens with Bryson Eason because he's about 260. And I can't see a linebacker in a 4-3 being 260 unless he can move. And, most of the guys that you sometimes get those freak athletes who can move like that. But I would not be surprised to see him move down as well. But the linebacking core is going to be, I think there's some talent in the secondary. Alontae Taylor, somebody mentioned, he is stepping up as a leader on that defense. And, you would have thought he would have had some really good coaching the last couple of years. I just don't think he has. And we'll see what Martinez can do with him. And we're going to find out what Martinez can do. A suspicion I have when Martinez was there and took over. I'm sorry to keep talking. I know I'm taking up a lot of time, but when he was there, you had Cam Sutton come in as a freshman, and Martinez developed him there. I'm curious to see what he can do with Christian Charles because I think this is a dude that has some potential back there. It's coming in 6'1", has some speed. Be curious to see he's an athlete like Cam Sutton was. I think the defense can be better than – not great maybe, but – I think there's some potential, especially if you get a couple individuals balled in at linebacker would help out a whole lot.
Was Martinez there when Brian Randolph was there?
Yep.
Brian Randolph was one that I think really you saw his development occur during his time at Tennessee, and he played himself into a couple good years in the NFL, but. Sure tackler and pretty solid coverage. And I think that goes back and speaks to Martinez and his success coaching the back end.
One of the biggest differences I remember there was Martinez was there when Todd Kelly came in, and you remember the potential he showed the first couple years, and then all of a sudden he dropped off when Martinez was let go. I can't remember who came in as when Shoop came in. I don't remember who came in as defensive backs, but I know it was the guy just became Indiana's defensive coordinator. Charlton. He was there last year. Charlton Warren. There you go. Yep, that was him. But
Lord, we've had so many coaches the last 10, 12 years. Lord of mercy. I can't keep up with them. I think, just talking about defense in general, to me, the two most important things that I'm looking for this defense to have any kind of success is, number one, that they've got to find somebody that can consistently get pressure on the quarterback. But number two is this defense is going to have to find depth because with the type of offense that Heupel likes to run, the defense is probably going to be on the field a lot. So Tennessee is going to have to find multiple players at the linebacker position and in the secondary, in my opinion, to be able to possibly rotate some of these kids out. The defensive line, like you said, Indy Kid, I mean, there's a lot of experience coming back there. There's some unproven depth there, but there's more bodies there. The linebacker position, it is. I mean, I think somebody said, could we look for the transfer portal for linebackers? I certainly think so. I think that they definitely will see, what's out there after spring practice. But the lack of experience and the lack of depth at linebacker and the defensive backs, to me, is the two things that could, end up causing Tennessee problems as far as defense goes this year.
I think the secondary could be. You've got some veterans back in the secondary. Is the thing of it. It's not like it's a young secondary because you got Taylor, George is coming back. You got McCullough, you got Flowers. Really, you got Schambarger, you have got Slaughter. I mean, so there's guys that's played back there. They just need to be developed. Really, the only one you lost from last year's Bryce Thompson.
Yeah, and maybe that they simplify things and these kids get to play faster and stuff like that it'll help them, hopefully so. Because I thought Flowers had tons of potential coming in. I think McCullough's a little bit slow. I think, that kind of hurts him, but, maybe that they can come up with something that can get him in better position and, not get burned as much per se or something like that, and maybe Taylor can be more consistent. Those type of things. So
I think that's the problem with the defense, especially in the secondary. You've got experience coming back, but you've got guys that have underperformed to this point. So, but that's a little teaser, a little spoiler for what's coming up with the Indie Kids video dropping tomorrow. Again, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We're going to be dropping a ton of content over the next 4 weeks covering spring practice. I'm excited that Coach Heupel is opening up practice so the media can watch. We'll be able to bring you some reports and information as far as that goes. But again, make sure you're subscribed. Tune in for the Indie Kids video dropping tomorrow. Jeremy Webb says, offensive line. Hey, man, go back and watch the video. Just dropped this morning. I went a little in-depth on that, so go check that out. We're in overtime here, so I'm going to plug.
We got a bunch of guards and no tackles.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what they do with that offensive line. But again, I think that's going to wrap it up for this video. If you've not done so yet, please do hit that thumbs up on the way out the door. We're at 137. I really thought we could get to 150. Sometimes you guys disappoint me. You break my heart, but it is what it is. Hit that thumbs up on the way out the door. It's going to wrap it up. Follow us all on social media. You can see it scrolling across the bottom there, the Talkin VAWLS account, and then all of our personal accounts. Let's ramp up our follows on Twitter. We would greatly appreciate that. But I think that's it. I think we're done. I think it's going to wrap it up. We're going to talk off air and figure out when we're going to go live. I'm thinking maybe once a week, maybe every other week. We'll see. We'll decide. We'll let you guys know. Follow us on social media. We'll keep you up to date. But for Dauber, for Vols JB, for the Indy Kid, my name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange. I can't do this. I can't do it. Put your headsets back on, boys.
You gotta get Angie.
I love our fans too much. When you spend money to drop a super chat on Talkin VAWLS, I'm stopping everything and bringing it back. Angie with a $4.99 super chat says, today's show is more enjoyable than March Sadness. And on that note, all I'll say is thank you, Ann, and go Big Orange.
How like me, poets sat in our chains, soaking moonlit falls, unbroken past this inundated orb that we call home, and it's night and I'm alone and I'm alive. The dogs howl like me, poets sat